Everyone. Thanks everyone for joining us this afternoon. We've got head coach Jeff Traylor here with us to talk about the 2025 signing class. We'll go right into questions. Just use the raise hand function and wait for me to call on you. Greg.
Jeff, how you doing today? Can you hear me all right?
Good, Brother Greg. How you doing?
I'm great. I wanted to ask you about when you look at this class overall, you mentioned early on the desire to be patient. Did the kind of patient approach pay off the way you hoped it would today with the class you put together?
I just did a radio interview with Andy, and I told him this is our sixth time to do this. So I really feel bad for you guys because, it's the same thing, Greg. Right? The evaluation piece is a very important part of the process. The recruiting piece is a very important part of the process, but the most important part is the developmental phase. And of the 29 kids we signed, which this is a crazy number when I tell you all this, but to show you how much the game has changed, 25 of them are already on campus. So we're already in the developmental phase. We're already 2 weeks into weight training. And I can tell you on the field, they look really good. They're moving around. They're really excited to be here. They're glad to be here. And so far, so good. I used to tell y'all, I'll let y'all know in 5 years how we did recruiting. And I will say we've been very blessed if you study our roster of how many of our kids start with us and finish with us. That's very rare in this new world. So we're proud of that. But at the same time, we understand, we signed 5 JUCO kids and 11 transfers. So that's 16 kids that did not start with us that we're going to have to get up to speed on the 2-1-0 triangle up this culture. And that's why we're, not starting spring ball till March the 25th. We're going to go 9 weeks of just old school, back to the basics, strength training and conditioning. We can't have 14 season injuries next year, and we're trying to get in front of that right now.
This class seems to have a pretty even spread of high school, some JUCO guys coming in here and then working the transfer portal as well. Is this kind of the ideal balance you would look for, or is it just going to depend on the roster needs?
Yeah, it's I've always tried to go a little blended. Obviously, the transfer portal and the window being the way college football's changed, in our 5 years together here, that's changed a little bit. And we lost so many really great defensive football players that have been playing for us for so long. We felt like we needed to go get a mix of that in there. But we're also very excited about our high school kids that we've signed that have been with us, and I think they're going to really come on.
We'll go to you, JJ.
Jeff, how much has this process changed for you since you got here?
Well, it's drastically. If we'd all just played a game and said we're going to write down our predictions of what college football is going to look like when Jeff Traylor got hired December 9th, 2019, and on February the 5th, 2025, we're going to all go get our bottles and pull them out of the ground and read who predicted where we are right now. I don't think any of us would have predicted this. I know none of us will. Y'all might now Greg would say he would have, but the rest of us know good and well there's no way we would have predicted this. So it's changed drastically. Like Dr. Compost even came over here a while ago, and she's like, it's not the same as it used to be. I'm like, yeah, none of us are sitting by a fax machine anymore, holding our breath where the NIL or NLI, are going to come across. We're all looking at our phones for the couple of kids we're still recruiting right now because 25 of them are already on campus. So totally changed.
Along those lines, how would you compare this class to some of the others you've had here? How did you guys think you did?
I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna I can do like a lot of coaches and tell y'all we're unbelievable, the greatest thing in the world, yada yada yada. You're going to judge us by our wins and losses and championships and bowl wins. We understand all that and getting to bowls. So I used to would say, JJ, I'll let you know in 5 years, but probably in the new world, we'll let you know in 6 months.
Greg, we'll go back to you.
Jeff, I wanted to ask about Shad Banks in particular. He was a highly regarded prospect, and he produced pretty well while at TCU. What sort of stands out about him, and what are your expectations for his time here?
Just he's a really great player at North Shore. Coach Price had a relationship with him. Joe obviously coached at North Shore. You just can't get enough of the North Shore type of children in here. They know how to win. They know what it's about. Shad was a great player. Was a good player at TCU, and we're really excited to pick him up. He knew we were losing, our top 3 linebackers, and we've got some guys on campus that are here, but those guys know they've got a chance to compete for a starting job, and really excited to get Shad, as we are, Brandon and La Vega. I mean, those guys, La Vega played at TJC. He was the player of the year in JUCO, and Brandon Tucker, who played East Texas A&M, was the first-team All-American. So we're really excited about that. But Shad as well, just from his success at TCU and obviously his championships at North Shore.
How many roster spots do you still have available as you look to the spring portal window, and kind of what positions do you expect you might target in that opportunity?
Let me go back on that. I call Vega, that's Darian White. I'm sorry. He played at La Vega, so I've already thrown a nickname around. Like y'all know who Vega is. It's Darian White from TJC, so I apologize for that. What was your question, Greg? I'm sorry.
Just about how you want to approach the spring transfer portal window, and sort of how many roster spots you still have and what areas you might want to target.
Yeah, like always, we try to save 3. We're there. We've got 3 spots available. That's if we lose no one, and we don't want to lose anybody, but it's just the new world. We still think we need to go get maybe another corner, a nose guard, just for depth, and best available player. So those will be the 3 spots we're holding for.
We haven't talked to you since this whole process played out with the junior college players who have the option to take the extra year. What were your conversations like with those guys, and how did that sort of impact how you approach this recruiting process?
Yeah, we're really excited to get Robert Henry back at running back. He's already had a really good career here, and he's got a lot of meat left on that bone. He knows it. He really came on last year at the end of the season. You saw the best you've ever seen Robert until he got injured, and we didn't get to see him again. So he's really excited about that. And then Willie, was so injured all last year. For him to get another year back was just really excited for both those kids. I think both those guys have NFL talent. They just have had, a bad run of luck on injuries. So they both have seen this as literally like the Lord has granted them another year, and they are working their tails off right now. Stitch Dumas and Cade Collenbach are 2 guys that we're not quite sure what that's going to look like. They're in that junior college deal, but they were 1 year before. Is the NCAA going to let them play or not going to let them play? We all have been given advisement by attorneys that they'll be allowed to play, but the NCAA has not said that officially yet.
And within that process, we saw Jamori Robinson and Martavius Friends transferred out with their extra year. How do you put those losses and their impact in perspective, given that you were kind of already planning for them to be gone anyway?
You said it. Ask yourself the question, and you answered it too. You did a hell of a job there, Greg. You got it perfectly.
I think that means I didn't do a great job, but I guess we can just move on. I know with the house settlement set to usher
Greg,
kind of the shit.
Can I push back and give you? That's kind of like Carrie and I's conversations, where Carrie asks me the question, then she answers the question. So yeah, you did a great job. I think I'm used to that, Greg.
Yeah, my job is to get you to say the thing, though. So that.
You did so good.
But I was going to ask about with the house settlement, with the shift from the scholarship limit to the roster limit. Does that sort of change how you manage things at this time? Has that had an impact on you guys?
Yeah, Dr. Compost has given me the flexibility to, decide if I'd rather go up on scholarships or use that money for rev share. And we've decided to stay at 85 and use all of our money on our rev share for the 85. And I was a walk-on. I still think it's a great place for walk-ons. I like the stories. I think you need that in the locker room. And I always hope to give away a walk-on scholarship to a player, which we've done every year that we've been here.
All right, we're going to go to Nate next, and then JJ, you're on deck.
Hey, Coach. Sorry, I couldn't figure out how to raise the hand on my app here. Appreciate it, Kyle. But Coach, want to ask you about a couple guys in particular. Name that jumped off the page there was T.J. Andrews. Obviously, we're familiar with him in San Antonio. I felt like he was on the high school football highlight show every night, and just a fine young man as well too to talk to. How'd you guys go about getting him into UTSA, and what brought him back home? I'd say.
Yeah, Tim Yoder, who is an assistant running back coach for us and helps us with tight ends as well. And Tim did a really great job of recruiting him. We know what a great high school player he was, and he's a big, good-looking dude running around the field right now. He's a great human being, and we're really excited to get him on our roster.
And then I want to ask about the receivers that you're bringing in here in this cycle as well too. What jumps out about each of them? Wilson from Houston Christian, was it something where he made a couple circus catches here at the Alamo Dome, and you said you couldn't let that dude get away? How did it happen?
Just like that, AJ made some great plays against us, and when he got in the transfer portal, his high school football coach is Rodney Southern out of Huntsville. He called me and wanted me to know that AJ was in the transfer portal, and he was a quarterback for him in high school and did not want to move, but he finally made the move, and man, what a blessing. He came on his recruiting trip and got a wonderful mother and just a great human being, and we're really excited to have him.
And then I've asked you this question in the last couple of years, but just growth of this program, obviously, over the last few years, but what have you noticed about the perception about UTSA Roadrunner football as time passes with you and your staff here in San Antonio?
It's just nowhere near the same. It's just light years different. I mean, I have a running back job open, and there used to be a couple of people apply for those jobs here, and now you couldn't. Thank goodness we've added some staff to help me get through those resumes and get to the best applicant. It's just a total different perception. If you look at how far we've come, in 5 seasons, 5 straight bowls, 29-3 at home, a couple conference championships. Just the city of San Antonio sells itself. I've said this a million times. There's no greater city to live in, and we've only been doing it 14 years, going on 15, and really proud of this place. We got a long ways to go, as Greg talked about with the rev share. I mean, the bar keeps moving, but so far, my general manager asked me the other day, why was I so confident? And I just said, I know, Mike, you hear all these things we've got to get done, and as long as I've been here, someone has always stepped up to the plate here. It's miraculous, all the things that have happened here, and I still believe miracles are going to keep happening.
Hey, JJ.
Jeff, how is the search for a running back coach going?
It's been great. We're looking to find the best running back coach we can in the country for these guys. We've got a really good room. All 5 of those guys are returning, and they were good last year. And we're excited to have the 5 that we're playing. Obviously Frankie didn't play last year. He's the only one that didn't. But in the bowl you saw 4 of those 5, and so we're excited about that.
Greg.
Jeff, you mentioned the rev share briefly there. How have you sort of approached those conversations with the incoming players in terms of reaching agreements and sort of letting them know what might be on the table for them?
Well, right now we're still dealing with 210 City fans and 210inspired.org. So, Martin and Bob in April will be presenting those contracts to those kids, and they'll be signing them. And that'll get them, January through June. And then in July, the university will take over, and those contracts will be signed, with our university. And then we'll keep the 210inspired.org through Martin in April, and those kids will continue to do charities and those kind of things for the city. And then Bob will continue to have the kickoff luncheon. So we'll be working in partnership with those 2 collectives, plus rev share from our university.
Do you have a solid grasp on the number you're working with, or is that still sort of being formulated?
I would rather President Amy Campos address that. I feel like that would be something that they might not want me just to speak on. I believe she has sent a letter out to everybody trying to explain where we are on all that. And I'm sure she's pretty intentional on why she's being vague on that. And I'm going to respect that by reading that letter and probably think my place is to stay vague right there.
Is there anything else for Coach Traylor this afternoon?
I'll give you one
All
more.
right.
I'll give you one more fun one, Coach. We catch you. The cameras with the popcorn up watching UTSA women's hoops. They've been on a roll here this season. What do you have any takes on them? It looks like you're having a lot of fun watching them.
Oh yeah, I'm for whatever reason I'm really close to those girls. It seems like my workout time when they're in the weight room, it just always happens I'm in there, and they've always just been very, very warm and welcoming. They're a direct reflection of Karen Aston. They're classy, they have character, but they're tough as hell. Those are some tough girls, and they play the game the right way. They're a direct reflection of Karen Aston, and I have a blast cheering for them, and they're really fun. It does not surprise me whatsoever. And as a matter of fact, when the game was over, I sent a text, and in my phone it says Karen Aston, the GOAT. That's how she's saved in my phone. And I texted her and I said, tough girls win tough games because they're coached by a tough woman. And I mean every word of it.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank y'all. God bless. Birds up.